Okay. Okay, please approve me now.
Hello. Hi, friends. Hi, Johan. Hello, hello.
Yeah.
We are live now. Okay. We will see you all soon. Okay. Meanwhile, just have a short intro about what we're doing, and we'll get back to you shortly. Hi, Johan. Hi. How are you doing?
Hi. I'm doing great today.
Doing good. Doing good. Okay. Very good. So, friends, today we have Johan Irwan Kamarozaman with us today, who wrote this book, Komunikasi Warna. Right? See, Johan, this is the book I bought from you earlier. This,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yo.
Thank
So
you
it's
for
very, yes, welcome to the show. You know what actually caught my attention when I, got this book is actually the title, Komunikasi Warna. Uh, and the fact that you mentioned, in some of the, in your, posts and all that, that the fact that we have few different types of brains, like, purple, red, green, and then the other one is blue. Okay.
yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to hear a lot more about this book. But what actually prompted you to write this book, first of all?
Prompted me to write the book. Okay, so you want me to share the short version of it or long version of it?
We have time, so you just please share the long version.
Oh, you can share the long version. Okay, so I was back in 2000, somewhere in 2012, 2011, 2012. I was looking for wanting to learn on how can I improve my leadership skills. So I heard someone said that, oh, this guy is green brain, this guy is red brain, something like that. So I was like wondering what is this all about. So I started to um, send email to Directive Communication, Arthur Kamazi himself, and then I saw some inside the website that you can go for certification, and at the time was quite cheap in the sense that it's not that now. Of course, now the price is a little bit increased, but at that time the USD is like times 3.1 or 3.0, something like
Oh,
that. So
okay.
immediately I swipe my credit card, the money that I don't have. I have some few consultation with I think the Malaysian master trainer, which is Lily Lau. So after have that conversation, I just swipe my credit card, and without thinking, I attended the 3 days course. And during the 3 days course, I think it was so much resonate to me and also the people that I'm dealing with. So it makes a lot of sense. No wonder my boss is like this, and my friend is like this, and some of my I think my closest friends are like this. Some of my family members are like this. So I remember on the third day of the training session, the certification, I declare in front of the other participants. I said that I'm going to write a book on this. And definitely Arthur Kamazi being the founder, being the creator of this colored brain communication. So he said that, okay, that's great. So and after that, I think after I conducted my second or third sessions of colored brain, and at that time was with Telecom Malaysia during that same year, I think 2012 or 2013, somewhere around. I think 2013, because I got the certificate in 2012. So around 2013, I was like really coming out with my own version of the module. So meaning that the same modules, but I put it into a little bit of my flavor, my perspective, my context. And after having that session, I thought that, why don't I write a book on this? And to be honest, I already finished writing it in 2013. So 2013 is where I already done writing that book. But at that time, the title wasn't Komunikasi Warna. The title is just like colored brain communication or something like that. So I haven't found the title yet, but the manuscript already, I can say about 98 or 95 to 98% completed. And I started to approach some of the publisher to publish my book. So I approached publisher A. Publisher A says that publisher A doesn't responded. I approached publisher B. Publisher B doesn't responded. So I started to call the office, asking for at least give me some response. And I remember publisher B, if I'm not mistaken, I wish not to reveal the name of the publisher, but publisher B mentioned that your books cannot sell.
Wow.
So I felt like a rejection lah. So after that, when I heard the story of J.K. Rowling being rejected by publisher 12 times, okay, I just rejected about two times. I don't feel that bad. It's hard to get that kind of rejection because I said that I already finished writing my manuscript. At least view my manuscript, or at least read some part of it before you judge whether it can sell or cannot sell. But then they didn't respond to me. And 2014, I remember 2014, one of my friend invited me to attend his Hari Raya open house. So my friend is quite well known, and he got some big shot, I can say influencer. I think close to him lah. And I remember during that time, inside the car, I put an intention. I wish that the person sitting next to me is a powerful person that I can build I can establish a network with. It turns out that there's one person that I think I know this guy, and while he was carrying the ketupat and rendang at that time, I said that please sit next to me, and then okay, and then he did sit next to me, and I said, anybody sitting here? No, oh, please sit here. And, so we had some small chat, small conversation. I said, I know you a little bit, blah 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 blah, and I know that you own a publishing house. Yeah, I own a publishing house. We are looking for author. And then I said that I've written a book. I was like, oh my god, this is like,
perfect, right?
This is like the moment that will change everything. So I said that I've already written my book, completed my manuscript, and just waiting to be published. And I already contacted your office, but your office did not respond, and he said cannot sell. This topic cannot sell. She said, oh no, don't worry. Please send to me your manuscript, and I'll have a look at it, and I'll see how I can help. So I was like, wow, it's like very, 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 it's like my hope, my dream, like almost come true now.
Wow.
And immediately he asked one question. So what topic did you write on? So I said that I write on colored brain communication. And his response after that was, that kind of topic, Malaysian people won't read it lah. So I don't think there is a market for Malaysian reader on this topic. In US, yeah lah, but in Malaysia, all this stuff, all this NLP stuff, I think Malaysian are not ready for it. So I was like, again, oh my god,
so close, so close.
Yeah, so close, being rejected again, and along the way after that, actually, I met a few others that actually self-published their book and also given me some tips. But since I was like busy doing training, I remember that 2015, 2016 is where my trainings started to picked up. The market started to, I think, started to accept me as a trainer, and then my schedule was full, and I think on top of conducting training, I attended a lot of trainings as well. But 2018 is where I really decided that I need to publish this book. And if they don't want to publish it, let me publish it on my own. So I remember December 31st, December 2018 is where I submit for the ISBN application. And I got feedback that I received my ISBN on the 4th of January 2019, and the rest is history lah. So I published my books. And yeah, my books is already in MPH, Popular, Borders, Kinokuniya, and I think thank you very much, Biasa, for also having my book. And yeah, the most to me the best part is when you receive feedback from people who read that book, how the book actually changes certain part of their life, changes their perspective, and make them a better leader. So I hope that's the long, slightly long lah. I try to compress the long version.
So friends, again, this is the book. Okay, let me see, where am I? Okay. It's covering my face. So this is the Book Komunikasi Warna by Johan, and I think you can always get in touch with him to get the book if you like. Okay, I'm just going to take it out from here. So Johan, what is actually in the book? What is the colored brain about?
Okay. In the book, okay, colored brain is just a tool to explain that how people thought process. We process information differently, and once you understand that, then it makes a lot of sense that why people are different. But it is according to Arthur Kamazi, it's not about personality, because our personality is so much more. There's a lot of things inside the element of personality. It's just the thinking process of human being. So what's inside the book, if you ask me, I talk a little bit in the first part of the book is very much a little bit of context setting that why humans are different, and where perception where perceptions happen, what makes we have this thing called perception and assumptions. And then only we talk about a little bit about the other brain models before we come into the topic of the color brain, which is on the second part. So the second part, I explain the four colors and the characteristic of these four colors. And the third part is very much application in leadership, application in being entrepreneur, application in relationship, application in while you are studying. Because of when you are studying, I always believe that people have different mode of study. Just because of you attended one training sessions and talking about the best techniques to study, doesn't mean that you can follow that and then you also will have the same results. So for example, like my way of studying last time, I remember I don't really study reading books I can't study by reading textbook. I forgot everything after I finished reading. But how I study is actually I immediately after attended class, I will open up the question section for me to answer the question first, and then only if I make mistake, I will view the content of it. So And I thought that that was the best way. So I started to giving advice to people, to my junior. So this is how you study. You don't bother to read. Don't bother to memorize things. Do exercise, and once you cannot answer the exercise, or you stuck, or you make some mistakes, then only you refer back. But it turns out that that wasn't the best way of for everyone. Maybe the best for me, but not best for everyone.
All right. So what are the 4 colors, and what is the significance of each color?
Okay, the 4 colors in short. The 4 colors, we have green, we have blue, we have red, and we have purple. So the green brain, which the one that they call it, the founder, Takamazi, call it a chaotic processing. Chaotic means that the information can be everywhere. So, and all this information is not really connected unless they take action. So if they take action, they understand it. If they don't take action, it's quite difficult for them to connect all this information. So that is why we can see that most of green brainers, they sometimes they can be impatient, and then they immediately will take action.
Okay.
And why? Because of, in order for them to understand certain things, they need to take action. So you can see that they are action takers, and they can act very, very fast. And green brain as well, because of the informations, like it's like everywhere. So green brain can come up with a lot of ideas, but again, a lot of ideas are very much superficial. It's not something like concrete, something details. Because of this idea need to be taken action upon, then only that idea really makes sense. So green brain can come up with a lot of ideas. So if you meet someone who every time you share problem, they will come up with, oh, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Why don't you come up with this? Why don't you come up with that? That probably a green brainer lah, immediately can come up with ideas. But if you ask them, okay, can you tell me in details, step by step, how do we implement this? Unless they have done it before, they might have that difficulty to explain how. We say, oh, let's do it first lah, then I can can tell you how.
Okay. So like more like go with the flow, but a lot of ideas.
Yep.
Okay.
Go with the flow is a very good way to explain green brain as well. They are a little bit flexible. They are okay. Today something happened. They need to change. They need to adapt. So green brain are very good at that. They can go with the flow, and most of the time, green brain can, because of this too flexibility, people might misunderstood that green brain. In Malay, I call it macam lalang lah. They can today they might say one thing, and tomorrow, while they're getting a little bit more information, or maybe taking some action, and they find that this might not work, so they might change along the way. So they will continue to shape and reshape until they find something that really concrete, and then they will continue to take action.
Right. Okay. Any examples of any personalities that we all know of green brains?
Okay, green brain, as what example that I shared in my book is Richard Branson. People like Richard Branson is a green brainer. Richard Branson can just like start a business just like that, and then can also make mistakes, and then can close as long as they progress. And if you look at green brain, when I read Richard Branson, I know that a lot of people say that the secret of success is you have to say no to a lot of things. The power of saying no. Steve Jobs says that the secret of innovation is to say no to 1,000 things. But surprisingly, Richard Branson said that you have to say yes to everything. And there is one thing that I think, one quote that I remember Richard Branson said that when there is an opportunity and you don't know how to do it, say yes first and figure it out later. And that's totally green brain. Say yes first, okay, let's do it, and then figure out along the way. Okay, that is a good advice for a green brainer, but might not be a good advice with other brains. But you see, when we look at that context, you have Richard Branson say giving advice that you have to say yes to everything. At the same time, Steve Jobs, which is not green brain, giving advice that you have to say no to 1,000 things. So that itself is actually a conflicting advice. So if you want to learn from successful people, people will say that you want to learn from which one? You want to listen to which one? You want to listen to Richard Branson or you want to listen to Steve Jobs? Both of them are successful, but they are giving contradicting advice.
Yeah,
So how do you decide on that?
right. Interesting. So maybe we have to also understand ourselves before we listen to certain personalities out there.
Exactly. So for example, like I'm a green brain. So I can agree on Richard Branson's way. Say yes first because we just don't know whether we can do it or we can't do it unless we try, right? So we can always say no along the way, not really say no, like meaning that we can just do it first. Or that's Nike motto, right? Just do it. That's very much good.
Yeah. And what are the other colors? The next one.
Okay, so we have green brain and we have red brain is the second color. Red brain is very much. Red brain is different as compared to green brain. Red brain is a little bit like structured. They are a little bit like objective in terms of doing things. They will look at objective first, and they are very much long-term kind of perspective. And whenever they make decision or before they decided to do anything, they need to get some facts and analyze the facts until it became some sort like a clear structure. Then only they will decide whether they wanted to do or not. Okay, so that's important for a red brain. So can you imagine a red brain working with a green brain? They might work in a discussion. They might come to a meeting whereby, okay, we have this kind of problem. And green brain will be like the person like, okay, since that is a problem, let's do this. And then the red brain say, okay, that's a good idea, but how are we going to do it? Let's do it now lah. And then the red brain say, no, we have to study first. We have to do some research first. We have to analyze. We have to make sure what are the evidence to make sure that whatever we are doing is actually works. So that might create some sort of quarrel or maybe argument or maybe conflict in terms of how to bring that conversation forward.
Right. Okay. So as we go along with their colors, right? Celine Chu, who's actually been watching the show from early on, she has asked a question: how do we know our own color category? Okay, thanks for the question, Celine.
Okay, thank you for the questions. Okay, most of the time, to make it like it's easy, to make it like simple, we can ask a simple question, and this is like a very basic question that I normally ask to gauge what type of color. So you can ask, when you make decision, how do you normally make decision? Number one is you do it first and then you'll discover along the way. So that's a green brain. Okay, number two is no, you need to analyze first. You need to think about it first, and then you need to get some facts and analyze. So that's red brain. Okay, meaning that you need to have some basis to make that kind of decision. Okay, number three is whether you are doing it based on you are making a decision based on your intuition. So intuition means that the facts might be right, the things might be in order, but somehow I don't feel like it lah. Okay, that might be a blue brainer. Okay, and number four is a purple brain. Purple brain, which someone needs a lot of information before they can make decision. So to answer question from Shalene, which also my LinkedIn friends, so you ask yourself, how do you normally make decision? Do you straight away doing it, or do you decide based on your intuition, or do you decide you need some facts for you to analyze, or you just need a lot of information? So
Okay.
that's one of the way.
All right. Thanks, Shalene, for your question. And so we go on a little bit deeper so we have covered the green brain, we have
And
covered
red.
the red brain, and next will be
Okay, blue brain. Okay,
blue brain.
and blue brain is what we call the people person. I call it the people person. A blue brain have this ability to access their subconscious better as compared to other colors. So meaning that that's why blue brain, when they decide certain things, they will chances are they will based on their intuition and also past experience. So meaning that they can without having any kind of rational justification first, they will started to mix their intuition will give some suggestion. This is how we're going to do it. This will work, this will not work. Okay, and blue brain most of the time they has this thing called I call it sixth sense lah. They just somehow can feel certain things. Sometimes it is quite difficult to explain, but they just have that intuition. Whether that intuition is correct or not, that's a second story lah. But most of the time they will trust because of facts also. Whether facts is correct or not, also a second story, right? But I think same goes to intuition. But most of the time, the blue brainer will say that their intuition most of the time correct one lah.
Right.
Okay. So for example, like a blue brain also most of the time they are a little bit they can empathize with people when they look at things, they will look at the other party point of view. A blue brain also certain most of the time they might take things personal as well, because of in blue brain what we call everything is connected. Okay, green brain just now everything is not connected. Blue brain everything is connected, and because of everything is connected, it connects with the past, it connects with for example, someone might did certain things bad to, let's say I'm a blue brain and bad something bad to me maybe a few years ago, and now they wanted to come to me and let's work in a team. So as a blue brain, I might have this feeling emotions that no, I'm not going to work with this guy. So not based on the competency or the qualification or whatever it is. Okay, so that's a little bit about blue brain. So so how blue brain can be different as compared to red brain, right? A red brain, whenever they wanted to decide something, they need to base on facts. But blue brain, most of the time they will base on intuition. I give you an example. So for example, like buying a car. Okay, both of blue and red, they might end up buying the same car, but the process of making decision is different. So for example, like a red brain, when they decide to buy a car, so I give example like Alza. A red brain will start to think, why do I need a car? So there must be objective. So in order for me to buy a car, number one, because of my old car already broken down, so I need to buy a new car. And number two is because of my family. I got 4 kids now, so I need a bigger capacity car. Okay, number three, maybe I need fuel price is increasing, so I need a fuel efficient car. And number three, maybe I'm a patriotic, I need to buy kereta buatan Malaysia, Malaysia car. Okay, so based on these three criteria or these three objectives, so they will find what are the car that actually suits to that objective. So maybe okay, maybe Mercedes tolak tepi, Honda tolak tepi, or maybe Proton and Pro 2. And Proton and Pro 2, which one? Myvi, no, Myvi is too small. Perdana is too small. So maybe Alza and also Exora. And Alza and Exora, after analyze, okay, maybe this one is Alza, maybe a little bit like fuel. Okay, let's buy Alza. So that's how they came out into a conclusion. So there is a criteria and there's objective. What are the criteria that fits to the objective? But a blue brain, they might one day look at Alza and this car looks nice lah. So I feel like I want to buy this car. But before making that decision, of course, they will go to the muda.my or kalis.my and then started to research on that car, actually to justify the decision that they already made or decided lah. But along the way, if they change, maybe because of the financial, or maybe because of other offers, maybe because of good friends recommend. So that's a different story. But my point here is actually they already made that decision first before actually they deciding on how to move forward.
Okay. Got it. And how does a purple, we have covered like we've got the green, we have got the red, and then we have got the blue brain. And how does the purple brain think and react to things?
Okay, purple. Basically, purple brain, they need to have information. So if to sum up into one word, information is king. So for a purple brain, information is very, very important. That lack of information will make purple brain a little bit difficult to make decision. Okay, so once they get all this information, enough information, so they will link all this information. Some sort like everything is connected, or all this information are connected to one another, and then they will look at it as if like it is a system. So a purple brain, great working within a system, or even great at building a system. So let's say the work that they do don't have any kind of system prior to they join the company. So maybe they will create their own system in order for them to be effective or efficient at it. Okay, one of the misunderstanding that people might perceive for a purple brain is sometimes they might slow in terms of making decision. They might be slow in terms of making decision. It's not because of they cannot make decision. It's because of they don't have enough information. So they will be stressed out to make decision without information. And I have a friend that who is a purple brain, and he always he asked me. Sometimes I feel like people are irritated of me because of I'm asking too much question, too many questions. For others, that information might not be relevant, but for a purple brain, it is important. So especially for a green brain don't need information in order for them to ask question. So if a purple brain meet with a green brain and ask a lot of question, and of course that will make like green brain stressed out, like, oh my god, why do you need to do me? Go and do it lah.
Right.
Okay, so purple brain needs to plan before they come up with any kind of activities. So planning is very, very important, and they will go details, and when they do things they will go details and talk about documentation. Purple brain is like very, very good with documentation because of all these details is in documentation, right? Okay, so that's about it on purple brain.
Right. So what are some examples of like green brain? The green brain, you have given an example already, Richard Branson. How about a blue brain?
Okay, a blue brain. Example I shared in my book is people like Tony Fernandez is a blue brain. Okay, don't get it wrong. Blue brain might not be the nicest person, but they will always based on people when they make decision. So Tan Sri Tony Fernandez, he created like the slogan itself, like now everyone can fly. It looks very people oriented. A lot of initiative in Asia, for example, like All Star,
Yes.
they value talents. If you are a janitor, but if you have this dream to become a pilot, okay, let's make it happen. So it's very much people oriented. But if you are not perform, or if you did something bad to me, you jaga lah. so that's blue brain kind of examples.
Okay, an example of a red brain.
Okay, a red brain. People like Bill Gates is a red brain. People like Warren Buffett is a red brain. Warren Buffett. Okay, these are all richest men in the world at one time. So, for example, like Warren Buffett, investment philosophy is very much invest for the long term.
Right.
So fundamentals, a red brain can do a lot of analysis. So that's why they did a lot of fundamental analysis, value investing. All of this is because of for a red brain that might seem very obvious. You need to do analysis first before you put money on it. But I've read some of the how to invest in stock, this analysis. I got like haywire because of to me it's not that natural for me to I can understand a rough concept, but for you ask me to do analysis, that is something that I might not be good at. So prefer not to do it like full time.
Right. And any example of a purple brain?
Okay, Purple Brain, people like Michael Dell, Dell Computer is very much good at actually setting up systems. So that's why they can sell computer at a very low price because of they optimize the system. People like Steve Jobs is also an example, a great example of Purple Brain. Everything is detailed. They might, Apple, especially during Steve Jobs' time, they might not have a lot of products, but whatever product they have, they really go into the details until the inner side of it. They will look into it. So that's a Purple Brain of example of Steve Jobs.
Okay, so we have a lot of questions actually coming up. So first of all, Sherlyn, okay, I see there's a chance that we will use different colors depending on the project's task we are handling. And then similar to this question by Pojo, right? As humans, your friend, right?
Yeah.
Okay, as humans are influenced by situation, can a person show different brain colors at different times, right? So very similar to what Sherlyn asked just now.
Okay, I think Shirin asked, I see there is a chance that we will use the different colors depending on the project task. Okay, I think the context of the question is slightly different. I think
Okay.
Shirin might say that, for example, like certain tasks, a certain color might have that strength or natural ability to accomplish that task better as compared to other colors. So, for example, like planning. A purple brain might have that natural ability to plan, analyzing. A red brain might have that natural ability to analyze. Connecting, a blue brain might have that natural ability. Talking. Green brain is very good. Can be a very good communicator. You know, a communicator in this context is very much. Green brain knows how to goreng lah. With a little bit information that they have, they can goreng. So a lot of speakers that I've met is actually a green brainer that that they can make some normal topic looks like very interesting because of they have this creative ideas on how to make it like very interesting. So for example, like I notice I'm a green brain. I have that strength in that, and when I compare to my friend, I have a friend who is a red brain. So both of us was engineers. When I was working in my second company, and I envy his ability to analyze. For example, like there is a problem in one of the products, right? So my friend can literally take that product into the engineering room and then using multimeter and then using oscilloscope, all this engineering stuff, right? I think you know better than me.
Yes.
So my friend can like cucuk sana cucuk sini and then identify, okay, this Volton is like this, blah 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 blah, and then during meeting and then they can explain actually because of the Voltons, like input is like this and output is like this. So I think that the transformer is NG, or the transformer is broken. So I was like, wow. And I tried to do that as well, take some spoil stuff, barang rosak from the production line, and then try to analyze on my own to see to diagnose which part is actually causing the problem. So I will spend hours and hours and hours and cannot find any any root cause of it. But if I brought it to my technician for the line technician, or brought it to other departments, and then they can do it faster than me. But whenever they explain to me, I can understand the concept because I have engineering background. I can understand the concept, and I notice that my strength is very much getting that information and presenting it in during the meeting. So my friends will look up at me when I conduct meeting, I can explain. Okay, based on this department say this, department say this, so we suspect. So I know how to curate that information. I know how to communicate the information that I get from this different department. But my friend is very good at analyzing. So at that time I don't understand, and I think that I am not a good engineer. I keep myself. I have that blaming myself for not being a good engineer. But no, it's my natural abilities. Actually, I know how to communicate, and in fact, I think I got a very good performance during my engineering years, because of my ability to communicate rather than my ability to analyze the the situation. So yeah, I think you can use different colors for different situation.
Okay, so there's one more question here from Nehru. Great knowledge. Can a person evaluate a candidate using these colors, or would it just be an initial assumption about a candidate?
Okay, here's my take on it. Sometimes during an initial conversation, sometimes we might have that guessing game, or we might think that this person is blue, this person is green. Why? Because of the surroundings train them to be in such a way.
Right.
But when we do things like at the subconscious level, for example, like when I conduct training, so we have certain activities that will group people into certain colors. And you can see, obviously, people with that color will behave in a certain way. So, for example, like if you ask, in my training session, I will always did this activity called drawing a T-shirt. So I will group them into colors, and then I will ask them to start to draw. And sometimes, people can have a certain, no, I think I'm red, I think I'm green. But whereas they are, for example, like, they might be green, but because of they are working too long in a red kind of environment, they might think that they are red because of they are trained to think like a red.
Right.
But during activities, you can see immediately, someone who are green, they will be the first to take up the pen and then wanting to draw.
Right.
Which is that is a green kind of behavior lah. Meaning that because of they need to take action fast.
Right.
But red will start to discuss first. Okay, okay, what are you going to do? What is the objective of doing this? So they will discuss to get that first. So in an unconscious level, we will base on our natural state. So in fact, when I try to evaluate my boss after I get the certification, I thought my boss was red.
Right.
Because of my boss, I think 10 years in banking industry, another 15 years in various financial industry. At one point, he was the CFO of this company. And I can see that his behavior is very much reddish. But when he make decision, I noticed that he make decision is actually blue decision, which he will look at people factor first. He will look at. So it is, to me, it is more important to understand the natural color rather than the color that they think they are. So I think this is the thing that I notice.
Okay, so it's good to observe a little bit further. Are there any kind of like tests,
Yes.
assessment tests for this?
Yes, there is an inventory called the Colored Brain Communication Inventory.
Okay.
And of course, it is it costs about, I think, $20 per test that you can get some graph.
Right.
There are two parts of the graph: your colors and which colors that you might have a problem communicating with.
Oh, okay, that's very interesting.
And of course, the test comes together with some reports on how to deal. If you are red, how to deal with blue. If you are red, how to deal with green.
Right. Okay. So, as humans are influenced by situations, can a person show different brain colors at different times?
Okay. Basically, because of this, we have this thing called brain flexibility, right? We always can. For example, I'm green. Can I be a structured person? Yes, I can learn. Because of that, is a competency a skills that we can learn.
Yeah.
But again, I cannot be as structured as a red brain. So meaning that my structure is very much structured in a green way rather than structure like a really structure like a red brain. So meaning that certain things that we can learn, certain things that it is quite difficult for us to. It is based on our true colors lah, our real colors. So I will always give this kind of analogy, that certain things that God created us that we can choose, certain things that we cannot choose. Okay, for example, like I can choose to be like disciplined. I can choose to be to wake up tomorrow at 5 a.m. I can choose want to be successful. I want to choose to become engineer. I can choose to become a lawyer. There's something that we can choose. But certain things that we cannot choose. For example, I cannot choose. God created me to become a male, a man. So I cannot like, oh no, I don't like to be a male, I want to be a female.
Yeah.
Or God already created me like I'm a Malay. I cannot suddenly choose that. No, I don't like Malay. I wanted to become Indian.
Right.
Certain things that we can't choose. Or colored brain is something that I categorize as something that you are already given.
Yeah.
That's you. So for example, like if you are a guy, can you transform yourself to become a girl? So with the technology nowadays, I think the answer is yes, but you cannot naturally, yes, naturally fully function like a girl, meaning that I can operate certain part of my body, but I still cannot get pregnant. Or I still, there are certain things that you can't be like fully that color lah.
Full-fledged lah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I hope that answer the question.
Very nicely answered, I think. Okay. So here we have also Zurina said good afternoon, and then Dato Alia here say hello and interesting. Thank you, Johan. And then we have Vivekanandan. Okay, who said he's learning something very useful. And then we have also Diana Chaska. All right. And Pojo, I think you have answered his questions very well. Okay.
Okay. All right.
So just a last question. Okay, if anyone has any last quick questions before we end the show, please feel free to drop it in. And how can a team work well with these different people? What are the common breakdowns and what can actually be done to work well in a team?
All right, thank you. I think that's very relevant questions. And in organization, especially, the reason why we wanted to understand the concept of this colored brain is because we wanted to understand how other people are different. And until we understand people are different and we can see things from their perspective, then only I think we can tolerate a little bit with others. If we can relate this concept with the five, when talk about teams, I like this model by Patrick Lencioni, the five dysfunction of a team, which is there are five things, but number one and number two is trust and also conflict. Number one is we always we don't have this trust because of we afraid to be vulnerable. So the key of having trust is actually by being open up, being vulnerable. Part of us talk about color brain, learning about color brain, is for us to really understand ourselves and our strength and also our weaknesses, and to admit that we are not good at everything. So for example, I'm a green brain. I have to admit that planning is not something that I'm good at. In fact, even in my company, in my team, I openly told my team that I'm very bad at structuring. Sometimes scheduling is something that I'm not so much good at. Planning, so I need help from my team members. Okay, being open up. It's okay to have certain kind of weaknesses because of we have different colors, right? So using this tool like tools like colored brain makes you like easier for you to admit that you're not perfect, you're not good in everything. So that's number one, establish trust. And at the same time, other people also can open up on their strength, and how do we actually leverage on the strength of others. So in a team, because of we know that people have different kind of strengths, so might as well we ask them to fully utilize their strength, and so that we also can cover up their weaknesses. So that makes a very good team synergy. And in any team, I think there is one article from Harvard Business Review. There are 5 things that we need from a team. We need someone who can think critically. So meaning that the red brain can analyze. We need a team that push things forward, which is the green brain can fast to take action. We need a person to connect, which is the blue brain, and we need a person that can do all this planning and structuring and things like that. So basically, out of that 5, I think it covers all the 4 colors. So in other words, if we can have all 4 colors, that will make a better team as compared to when we tend to like to work with people who are like us. I'm a green brain. I always love to work with another green brain because of when I see somebody they can immediately understand where I'm coming from. But it is not that easy. If I'm a green brain, I have to work with a red brain.
Yeah.
Especially when you don't know that that person is red brain, and that person also don't know that you are green brain, and they cannot understand your context. They will started to say that, hey, my boss, I cannot understand my boss. How come you think like that? I think that happens a lot of time in organization. In fact, even if you know about colored brain, you will still feel that level of, oh my God, I cannot stand my boss. But unless you step back and you reflect, my boss may be a red brain, so this is how he viewed things, and no wonder he says certain things to me. And then I have to explain to my boss, okay, I'm green brain. This is how I perceive the world. And this is how I do my work. And the concept of tolerance, just like Malaysia, how Malaysia can be like a very multiracial country and still progressing as a nation is because of we can tolerate with each other. I can understand how Indian do things. I can understand how Chinese do things. And it's not like I wanted to be like Indian, I wanted to be like Chinese, but because of I understand, I can at least understand from their perspective why they are doing things such and such. Why Chinese pray like this, and why Indian during Taipusam will have to do like this. So instead of I'm judging, Indian is not right, we are the best. So it's not about that. But understand, they have to do this, and then we respect how they do things, and that what makes us live in harmony, basically. And I think same in a team. We just don't make people wrong because of they are different, but we respect how people do things, and that what will make us work in harmony. And I think the second thing is conflict. How do we really manage that conflict is even more important. Because of Patrick Lencioni said that a good team is not a team that don't have conflicts, because of even if you have no conflict, that is not a good team. We need to have conflicts, but we need to manage the conflicts.
Right. Very interesting. Okay, Ishak Karim given an analogy here. Like it sounds like the color of brain, like race and gender. It's just like race and gender in the brains, different people.
Definitely.
Right? Nicely said, Ishak Karim. Okay, so with that, again, friends, let me just share again Johan's book. Okay, if you can always reach out to him for trainings, and also you can get the book Komunikasi Warna. All right, again, I put it here so you can see a bit of me. Right. Okay. So thank you very much for sharing. You all can always reach out to Johan directly through his LinkedIn profile, Facebook, or if you want to reach out through me, I can also connect you to him. So thank you, Johan. I think wonderful tips. I've been reading this book, but getting these tips live from you, from the author, it's much more interesting because you're putting different perspectives, different contexts, different explanation, different stories. It makes it easy for me to understand. What do you think Elon Musk is? What do you think?
My opinion, he's a red brainer.
Red brainer.
Red brainer, very long term kind of thinking. Okay, one of the way for you to at least how I used to analyze people brain color is by looking at how people speak.
Right.
A green brain will speak like tone like up and down, just like Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim is a green brain. They can move up, they can move down, they can move okay. Red brain, most of the time they will have this flat kind of tone. So people like Bill Gates, the speech tonality is very much flat. People like Tun Mahathir, red brain, very much flat. And Elon Musk is very much flat while he speak. And Elon Musk very factual, very. I think he's amazing lah, Elon Musk. But if you ask me, I'm not sure. I might be wrong, but based on my observation, he's a red brainer.
All right. With that, friends, we are coming to the end of the show. Thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you very much, Johan, for explaining the whole, the different brain colors. I appreciate it. I think I learned a lot here in this short conversation.
So biasa, what color do you think you are?
I was just thinking about that throughout this conversation. I think, what do you think? I think I'm a green.
Green, eh?
Yeah, because I tend to make decisions quite fast, and then sometimes go with the flow when
Yeah.
things changes. And sometimes today when I'm doing this, and then tomorrow suddenly, oh, I think we can do this better, And this normally disrupts the red brainer, like crazy.
Okay. Yeah,
So
I think so because of yesterday. Vyasa called me, Johan. Let's do a conversation. I said, okay, let's do it. When do you want to do
yeah.
it? You want to do it tonight or something like that? So that's very green.
Not next week or 2 weeks later, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so bye bye everyone. Johan, just stay on the show. Don't leave.
All right.
So see you everyone. Thanks everyone for watching.
Thank you.
Melissa,
Thank you.
Jamuna, Shankari, Ishak Karim, Pojo, Diana, Vivek, Datu Alia, Zurina, Nehru, Sherlyn, and everybody else that have been dropping by. All right. So again, thank you and goodbye.
Thank you. Bye bye.